I really feel like a part of my life died that day.
What I miss most about Carly is her smile. Everybody loved Carly.
I'm just looking at that smile. That day that old Carly died.
She's not herself. She's not her happy-go-lucky, smiley Carly.
Please turn that off. I don't want to see it.
I'm asking you.
Turn it off!
I'm asking you.
Now!
I just truly feel that she's changed completely to a very insecure, jealous, lost person. We were getting really upset because I was spending time with my daughter on the same couch right next to you.
You're ignoring me.
You know,
I just want your attention.
we'll be discussing something really serious. All of a sudden, she'll just break out just laughing. It's almost kind of evil. Like you're laughing now. Do you feel what you're doing? No? Yeah?
You just can't control it.
Carly has found the garage, I guess, like a safe place. She'll open up the garage and she'll sit in the garage all day, listening to music, sometimes listening to the same song over again. I noticed her talking has become a little slower. Carly's been having an issue recognizing some of the people she's worked with. A lot of the jealousy is gone way out the roof. She does follow me around the house. I could get home and go use the bathroom and she's right there with me. Carly did follow me to work, park across the street. She even had an app to where she was able to track me. Carly, a lot of the times, will text, you know, I hope God takes us together. You know, I can't live without you. And she's constantly saying that, with the same message over and over again. You know, in all reality, will I ever get my wife back? I don't know. Do I want my wife back? Yes.
Well, it's good to meet the three of you. I don't often sit across from a hero, but you certainly are a hero. I know you probably don't like to say that, but that's an amazing thing that you did.
It was pretty intense.
You have to look at people after something like that in comparison to a baseline, who they were before. Is she different?
Yes, she is. And as a mother, you know when your child is not right. Before, Carly was active, loving. Now she's quiet. She seems to be in a little world sometimes by herself. You talk to her and it takes a while for her to react. Something's not working right.
I totally agree. She doesn't smile anymore. If you see all her pictures, she always has her bright white smile, and now it's muted.
And you agree, you think she's very different.
I do agree.
I truly believe Carly is milking this accident to get my dad's undivided attention. Carly thinks she has a lot of people fooled, but I know exactly what she's doing. I think she is faking it to get the attention that she wants. She can't blame the possessive, clingy, jealous behavior on this accident because it's something that's always been there. We've always called Carly a leech.
After my dad retired, he went and got a security job at one of the local high schools. Carly actually quit her job and went to the high school as well and got the job there.
Our dad had a recliner. Carly would always be with him on the chair. One day it just decided to give out and she fell on the floor and the recliner broke. We don't mean to laugh, but it was funny. Another one is where he'll be sitting in the chair and she'll be here, you know, staring at whoever he's talking to, rubbing his shoulders. Or we'll try to talk to him and she'll come sit here and then our dad is, you know, reaching back and forth trying to talk to somebody, but you can't because she's on him. We have to laugh because it's just like insane. Well, we've always had a joke now for a few years. We've always said we're gonna end up on 2020 because of something she's done to our dad, because if she can't have him, nobody can have him. Sorry. So if my dad doesn't want to end up with her, I wouldn't put it past Carly killing herself and blaming my dad. I wouldn't put it past her maybe even doing something to him down the line. My sisters are what he truly deeply cares for. I think it's a way to hurt us.
And it sucks for my dad. Our dad is a big role in our lives, and her taking that away from us is making her happier.
The end of the cable got me here, and all of a sudden, I just started shaking. When I was in that bright, bright place, I could hear Larry yelling for me. It was amazing. I was in heaven somewhere.
Larry started CPR and revived Carly before paramedics arrived.
So this is where they did the skin grafts. I'm having trouble. I feel like there's an empty spot back here. I don't know if it's because I was hitting my head on the concrete. I just feel like I'm not myself anymore. I know Larry gets upset because I go for drives and he tells me that I'm being irrational.
You don't need to be going 20-some miles to all these different secluded areas.
I just shut down. I don't engage with anybody. Before I was always happy. Sometimes he says something, I just start laughing. He gets angry. My biggest fear is that my brain stops working and my husband gives up on me. He was just telling me to go find somebody else. I just don't want to be without him. I want us to last a long, long time. Be ready when God takes us home. I hope he takes us together. I just want to hold his hand in heaven.
Do you remember that day?
My daughter walked into the garage and I looked up at her, and that's when it shocked me.
Okay.
And then I started shaking because I had the cables on me.
Yeah, wow. You have your two stepdaughters here. They think that this is something that you're using to get closer to their dad and push them away from their dad. What do you say about that?
I think they're wrong. Makes me feel very uncomfortable
Uh-huh.
because they would say something like that.
Before the accident, how did you react if you didn't feel like Larry was paying you enough attention?
I just go be by myself.
She's always had that insecurity and that little bit of jealousy. Whenever, my girls would come over, or the grandkids, and, it seems like it's skyrocketed after the accident to where they come over and she'll either seclude herself or she'll come and sit down on top of me to where I can't talk to anybody. It's a wall that there's no expression towards anybody else.
Well, Carly, what do you say about that?
Well, it's the bad words. I don't cuss. It's like they have no respect for their dad, cussing inside the house, and I don't like it.
So you would withdraw from that?
Yeah.
When they're around and you would actually sit and block him from even being able to see them, what's your objective? Why do you do that?
Just to be next to him.
You know that frustrates him, right?
Yeah.
When we were asking you questions ahead of time, everybody answered every question we asked you, thank you, except for you. When we asked questions about the stepdaughters, you wouldn't answer any questions about them.
I was just upset because they said I was faking it.
Are you?
No.
I feel like Carly doesn't want to push forward to get help for herself. I had set her up with a counselor. She went a couple of times and stopped going. It's frustrating because I feel that it would help her deal with whatever she's going through.
I know they were saying that she's missing all these follow-up appointments. I just think there's nothing wrong with her, so there's nothing to follow up on. So she's making lies about these follow-up appointments.
You looked at everything, and we want to look at some of the primary findings. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes, definitely.
Dr. Jabbour will take us through this.
We're going to look at the wiring mechanism in the brain. It's sort of like a big computer. The brain has got computers and wires that connect. So we then remove the brain and remove Carly, and now we're looking only at the wires, and then we pick specific areas within that wiring to then interrogate that and see if the wires are damaged,
Okay.
which is the next slide.
All right. Can we go to the next slide?
So we can see that this big tract, it's called the corticospinal tract, which supplies the whole body. We can measure the density of the wires and whether they're damaged or not. And we can see that this one measure of white matter health or strength is much lower on that side than on this side.
Okay, that looks to be a significant difference.
That's a significant difference.
And they had been told before that there weren't any significant findings, but when you get down to this level, that's where you start seeing things.
Yeah, that's correct. What we see here is a scar in the brain and around the ventricles, and where the yellow arrows are big ventricles and spaces. The brain has shrunk like a raisin.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
The amygdala on this side is big, normal. It's not normal, it's reduced as well, but on this side it's almost disappeared. So her memory function and her emotional controls may be affected by damage to that area.
Okay, can we go to the next slide?
All of these have a residence in different parts of this brain, and we see tremendous loss wherever it's red. That means the brain has shrunk such that the patient's brain is 2 standard deviations below normal. So in other words, fancy way of saying, this brain in 1 percentile, 99% of people the same age as Carly have a much bigger brain than her.
These are all at the number 1 percentile, and this is where the executive functions happen.
That's correct.
Planning, prediction, forethought,
Analysis.
organization, analysis are all at the number 1 percentile, meaning the absolute bottom. 99% of women your age have higher volume for functioning there than do you.
And you can see a normal brain has a lot of red around it on this study that measures blood flow to the brain and metabolism indirectly. And Carly's brain is switched off and very slow moving compared to what it probably was before the injury.
So, in a nutshell, this is showing a degenerative brain condition at this point, and we're not saying that that can't be worked on and changed, but for where it is right now, this explains a whole lot of what's going on. Would you agree?
Yes. And the way to think of it is unless you recognize and find what the problem is, you can't fix it. So if you don't find it, I always say you've got to first find it, and now we can develop a plan to fix it.
Is this making sense to you guys?
Yes, it is. It does. We knew something was not right.
Yeah.
Electrocuted.
The cable got me here. I just started shaking.
Permanent injuries.
Do you think she's very different?
I do. For manipulation.
I was just upset because they said I was faking it.
Are you?
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.